often lauded and regarded as one of cinema's true masterpieces, Luchino Visconti's magnum opus, The Leopard, is a film so grand and so majestic that perhaps only Visconti himself possessed the ability to make it. Visconti's filmic roots in the neorealist style can be seen in 1943's Obsession, a film which has since gone on to be regarded as the first true neorealist film. Following this, Visconti's style would eventually evolve into a more aristocratic approach, reflective of the Italian nobility Visconti himself grew up with. The foundations for his approach to The Leopard can be seen in 1954's Senso, which was Visconti's first venture into this style, which also featured vivid colour photography, name-value actors, lavish set design, and extravagant costumes. This, alongside his early theatrical background, is perhaps why Visconti is able to blend both aspects of Italian culture so perfectly within The Leopard. His remarkable sense of theatricality and spectacle is something that is undoubtedly forged from his early theatrical-based works, whilst his neorealist works gave him the foundation to forge intimacy and hardship within The Leopard's central family dynamic. Set in Sicily in 1860, Visconti's tale of nostalgia, drama, and prosperity takes place during the final years of Italy's Risorgimento, a period in which Italian states were freed from foreign domination and became united into a singular democratic state. Here we follow Don Cabiria, the aging prince of Salina, who has begun to watch his culture and fortune slowly fade away as the new generation, represented by his nephew and his fiancée, begin to take centre stage. As Garibaldi's troops begin to bring forth the inevitable unification of Italy, Corbira's family must unwillingly adapt to the widespread social changes that risk undermining their way of life. Giuseppe Lampedusa's 1958 novel, also titled The Leopard, served as the foundation for Visconti's work. Despite there being differences in both Lampedusa and Visconti's visions, reflected by their mutual interest in the lavish splendour of the dying aristocratic world, and particularly how this can be viewed as a mournful view of the past. In one of his most challenging leading roles, and the first of his two collaborations with Visconti, Burt Lancaster's casting as the maturing Prince Don Cabiria is truly a revelation. Playing a character who has overseen the radical change in his tradition and family, there is a remarkable and beautiful sadness to Lancaster's portrayal of Corbiria. Corbiria is undoubtedly a figure of tragedy. Here Visconti portrays him as a man who, like the film itself, is filled with regret, melancholy, for the crumbling of the empire occurring before his very eyes. Utilising a patient and deliberate pace to tell his tale, Visconti's preferred cut, the 185-minute Italian language version, has an undeniable rhythm and tempo, fitting for the living, breathing world he presents us with. When looking at the portrayal of mortality within The Leopard, we can pinpoint the prince as an example of this. He's a man who finds himself at the centre of one of Italy's most crucial historical events, unable to control the future nor the impact it will have on him. The prince is a man of great dignity and personal integrity, but even he realises that change is inevitable when facing a dying dynasty. This self-realisation of mortality is perhaps best realised in the film's majestic and concluding 45-minute ballroom sequence, in which the prince now seems to have accepted his mortality and his inevitable change, even though he seems to exhibit a strong attraction to his nephew's fiancée, Angelica. Despite this allusion to something greater romantically, the prince clearly resigns from any potential attraction. He now seems to be quite content and full of encouragement for the pending marriage between Angelica and his nephew. This can be viewed as an acceptance of mortality from the prince, who now has quietly accepted the passing of both the future generation and middle classes, peacefully allowing things to fade away before his very eyes. with an ability to communicate complex and subtle characters. Through his mastery of the visual storytelling style with the Leopard, Visconti exhibits exquisite mise-en-scène and a sense of nostalgia for the period that has rarely been reflected better, teaching us that mortality is an important aspect of our lives. There are many aspects to the Leopard's exploration of mortality that are worthy of consideration, but perhaps none more so than the belief that resulting societal change will always be inevitable, no matter how much one may resist it.